let's go to section 6 of the same law. This law on cultism. Harboring offenders or permitting court activities in premises.
Okay.
What they go to demolish? What they call them? That hotel, give me the name. Beans Hotel for
Hotel. Yes.
That house they demolished for Aduawa the other day.
Yes.
And MBM of Africa house for Amagba.
Yes.
The section 6 of that law says any person who knowingly harbors another person who has in his possession or control any offensive weapon, B, harbors a member of the secret court, or C, allows or permits a secret court meeting or activity to be held in any house, building, or place belonging to or occupied by him or her, or over which the person has control, commits an offense and is liable on conviction to a term not less than 10 years imprisonment without an option of fine, as well as confiscation of the said property and is demolition by the state government. Now, what do you hear? What do you understand by this? He said they are liable on conviction. Down law. Down law. Say they are liable on conviction. So that means before you demolish a house that you suspect that a kidnapper or a cultist is living in, you must have tried the person that you suspect of the cult activity or of the kidnapping, and the person must have been convicted. Not only that, you must have also tried the owner of the house, and the owner of the house is convicted of harboring a cultist or a kidnapper. Before you will now sentence him to 10 years imprisonment, and you confiscate the house and demolish it. Now, what did our dear governor do? One you pointed a hand. Oh, there's a boy that killed somebody in one duplex around the Okpebholo.
Yes.
And that same boy I heard that the father was the one that.
Oh my God, Governor Okpebholo is in trouble. My people, those houses and MBM arena, when Governor Okpebholo go destroy, this man go pay for everything if the matter enter court, because this barrister don't come read this section for us where the law for talk say you no get right to destroy the house just like that until the matter enter court. Now court now go find them guilty or not. Not be Governor Okpebholo go just carry caterpillar begin dey destroy house, matter no enter court not judge am, you begin dey destroy the house just like that. Make una come lis ten to this barrister, he enligh ten the edos wetin Governor Okpebholo dey do so not the right. And also make una abeg subscribe to my YouTube channel, Edoblog Gist TV.
Now let's go to section 6 of the same law. This law on cultism. Harboring offenders or permitting court activities in premises.
Okay.
What they go to demolish? What they call them? That hotel, give me the name. Beans Hotel for
Hotel. Yes.
That house they demolished for Aduawa the other day.
Yes.
And MBM of Africa house for Amagba.
Yes.
The section 6 of that law says any person who knowingly harbors another person who has in his possession or control any offensive weapon, B, harbors a member of the secret court, or C, allows or permits a secret court meeting or activity to be held in any house, building, or place belonging to or occupied by him or her, or over which the person has control, commits an offense and is liable on conviction to a term not less than 10 years imprisonment without an option of fine, as well as confiscation of the said property and is demolition by the state government. Now, what do you hear? What do you understand by this? He said they are liable on conviction. Down law. Down law. Say they are liable on conviction. So that means before you demolish a house that you suspect that a kidnapper or a cultist is living in, you must have tried the person that you suspect of the cult activity or of the kidnapping, and the person must have been convicted. Not only that, you must also try the owner of the house. And the owner of the house is convicted of harboring a cultist or a kidnapper. Before you will now sentence him to 10 years imprisonment, and you confiscate the house and demolish it. Now, what did our dear governor do? One you pointed a hand. Oh, there's a boy that killed somebody in one duplex around the Okpebholo.
Yes.
And that same boy, I heard that the father was the one that reported the matter to the police. Our governor, our dear governor, went to that house. He took bulldozer and demolished the place without trial. Without trial, he resorted to self-help. But it is a complete disgrace that the people that are supposed to protect the law, the people are supposed to protect the constitution, that are the same people that breach the constitution and the law with recklessness. It's a complete disgrace. And I made these points before now. So some people were saying, oh, are you a cultist? You are defending cultists. I said, I'm not a cultist. I'm not defending cultists. But have they even said they are cultists? Who is supposed to say that they are cultists? Who is supposed to say that this person is a kidnapper? Even if somebody agrees, makes confessional statement, and agrees that, oh, I'm a cultist. Oh, I killed this person. I killed that person. The person is still not guilty until the court says so. The person must still have his or her day in court. In the court of law. In a competent court of law. And the judge will pronounce that this person is guilty. And after conviction, the judge will go and sentence the person. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that is what we are telling the governor. Look, we don't hate you. We cannot hate you because you are our governor. Edo State is a family state. Let me tell you about 80% or 70% of Edo people, if they start talking, digging into history and family genealogy, you will discover that we are all related in one way or the other, either on the father side or the mother side. So I cannot hate any Edo person. I can only be against you on principle. Now, for instance, me as a lawyer, as a minister in the temple of justice, I owe a duty to the law, to the constitution, to protect its sanctity. Me as an Edo man, a full-fledged Edo man that believes in the Edo nation and its growth, I owe a sacred duty to my kingdom, to my nation, Edo nation, to protect the sanctity of his people. Now, if you say, oh, it is not me that they are beating, it is not my house they demolished. Remember what happened in Nazi Germany, where they came for some other people, they came for the Jews, they came for this. This one will say, oh, it is not me, it is not me, it is not me, until they now came for him. Remember the story in the Bible, in the book of Acts, where Herod killed James, the son of Zebedee. After he killed James, he now saw that there was no uproar, there was no opposition, nobody's complained, nobody said anything. He now said, I will go and take Peter and John. And now took Peter and John and imprisoned them, preparing to kill them. So we cannot wait till it gets to our turn. Once you see what is wrong, say it is wrong. About Simple were telling me, one of my cousins is in Europe. I think she listened to your promo that was going to come up to talk about this matter. I didn't even know. I didn't know you were promoting it. She called me. I said, my dear sister, I was talking to her. She said, please, my brother, I heard that you're going to appear on a Batabaze program. You're going to talk about this matter. He said, please, you have to be take care. You have to. I just laughed. I just laughed. You know why I laughed? If the Americans of 100 years ago or 200 years ago, if they are kept quiet for people who were destroying the society to continue, America will not have been where it is today. Everybody will not be running to America today. So some of us will speak We may not enjoy what we are fighting for, but there are
Yes.
people who are coming after us that we enjoy what we are fighting for. Without law, and without law, there cannot be order. Without respect for the rule of law, there cannot be order. And when there is no order in a society, there cannot be progress, there cannot be development, there cannot be economic growth. So we must hold the sanctity of the law and the constitution, first of all.
Barrister,
Hold that. Yes.
Barrister, let me come here.
Yes.
I appreciate you. And on YouTube, we have over 200 people watching. On TikTok, almost 500. Guys, I'm sure you guys know that we're supposed to do this broadcast by 3. So many people come, but we couldn't. You know, so me and the barrister agreed that this is supposed to be video. But I wish now audio, you know, it will flow the way it be so. So please, guys, the only way we can get more people to watch this broadcast, because the internet space is choked. If you don't grab people to come get the right information, they go out there online, they waste their data on comedy, laughing, and not knowing anything. I'm sure some of you who don't dare yet don't learn in the last 25 minutes where they bring Barrister up. Please, I want you to double tap the screen, please. As Barrister is talking, keep double tapping. That is your own contribution to this live broadcast to get more people to know what is going on. Now, Barrister, I'm so glad that you are hitting the nail of the head. You are not here to speak, you know, like that big lawyer that will just, you know, packaging, you know, many people don't add packaging to their profession. Even though they would like to speak like they'll say, no, you know, they'll call it all those things. And, they send a clear message. We appreciate you. We go come back to this demolition. This demolition, when you start, so we go come back to this demolition. But we need to go back to how we take it here. Now, as INEC declare the current governor of Edo State, I don't know about you, he is their governor. He is not my governor. I didn't support him. I didn't elect him. It is INEC governor. And I have it's my right to say he's not my governor. Because I didn't choose him. This is democracy. Nobody can force a leader on me. I don't know about other people that are watching us. Now, when he came in, he tried to prove to us that he was coming to do things differently. He told us that he was bringing an insecurity. But later they said, no, na error, not be insecurity talk. Now say he will bring security. They went shopping for security vehicles. They paraded over 100 security vehicles. So even though say me na opposition, I was still like, this man try to go shatter vehicles like this. The question I want to ask you, Barrister, what is the current state of security in Edo? And as a very famous lawyer, you're in the street. You don't be lawyer when they hide for corner. You're in the street. Have you seen the operations of over 100 Hilos vehicles that they bought? Take us through the security situation in Edo before we go back to this discussion.
For me, the security situation in Edo 3 years ago, 2 years ago, and just before the election was a lot better. In fact, it was the best I've seen in Edo in a very long time, when the vigilante groups were operating. You know, the armed robbery, I didn't hear about armed robbery until maybe this violent court war started. Then today, because this court fight cannot really make somebody to gauge the security situation in Edo State and in Benin. But we know that for a long time, herdsmen have been attacking our people in their farmlands, in the bushes, in the forest. And they are still doing that till now. We know about what happened at Uromi, and a lot are happening in various parts of Edo State, especially Esako area. So I think that government is not really coming to terms with how to resolve these issues. We must find creative ways of being able to curb crime. There's nowhere in the world where you don't have violent crime, armed robbery, and things like that. But we must minimize it as much as possible. Ordinarily, our people are law-abiding. The other time I think last week, I saw on social media where they gave a list of foreign nationals in UK that were involved in criminality. A list of about 30 countries. Nigeria didn't even appear there at all. A list of about 30 countries. And if you want to talk about the population of foreign nationals in the UK, Nigeria should be maybe number 2 or number 3 after maybe India. If you're talking about Nigeria. But a list of about 30. So that means, because even if you go to the US, if you go to Canada, you see Nigerians, we like to work legally. We like to earn a living. We don't really like criminality, armed robbery, or kidnapping. It's not as if I am supporting those who are doing it here, but there's a compulsion to do it because some need to take care of their family to pay their bills and things like that. So government must find creative ways of making people, of dissuading people away from violent crime, kidnapping, armed robbery, and things like that. Just like even these violent cult activities. Government must find creative way. And I would say it that using the bulldozer to demolish houses is not a creative way to be able to curb the menace of cult activities. But we are even saying that we have a housing deficit in Edo State or in Nigeria, and we are demolishing houses. Okay, for instance, look at that man whose duplex was demolished around the Yekoba houses, Iriri houses. And the man was crying like a baby that all his life earnings he put in that house, and within a tweak of an eye, the house was brought down. Look at Beans Hotel. We were small when we started hearing about Beans Hotel.
Yes.
You know, and just because you say, oh, there were a court meeting in the place, then you brought it down without court judgment, without trial, we must find creative way. And that's what we are saying, that we must be able to attract creative people into government, and that there must be electoral reforms, there must be electoral laws that will really ensure that the people are king, that we cannot depend on people in government to be able to give us free and fair election. There must be some reforms that will ensure that the votes of people will count. And if the votes of people count, Nigeria would have been a lot better than how it is today. If their votes will really count. Because they will know that they will not be beholden to godfathers. For instance, because of what happened in the last election in Edo State, we all know what happened.
Yes.
I've written about it several times. I've spoken about it several times. So I don't want to belabor it by revisiting it. We all know what happened. Now, if it is made to stand, that means politicians will say that, oh, we don't need to even impress the people. We don't need to focus on good governance.
Yes.
We don't need to put food on the tables of people. We will just save money and wait so that we're able to buy an egg, buy the security agencies, write results, announce. They will tell you to go to court. When they go to court, we're able to do what we did before. Let me not mention it. We'll do what we did before so that we'll have our way. I must tell you about, if it stands, the 2027, people should be ready. Police should be ready. Soldiers should be ready. Because people are going to bring guns into polling units and polling centers so that they will settle it there and then. I'm telling you. Because they know that they will not have justice in court. Hi. And they know that once they declare somebody, it will just go. But we just hope that there are still men of reason. There are people who will look more at the future, much more than what we have today. But having said that, as I said, government must find creative ways of curbing criminality, cultism, and violent crime. I'm talking about cultism, Albert. I know you've not asked this. I also said in one of my essays I wrote on this that government must look at, examine, why is there an upsurge in violent cultic activities in Edo State today, or just in Nigeria. It's not just in Edo Sable. Because if you follow social media reports, you will see that as we speak, We have violent court killings in Lagos, in Anambra, in Imo, in Abia, in Rivers, in Bayelsa, in Akwa Ibom, in Benue. If I'm not until few months ago, I didn't know that there were court activities in the north. So today we know that we have court wars in Benue, in Plateau, in Nasarawa, and even in Kano State. So government must sit down to say, why is there an upsurge in street court? When we were in the university, what we had were court activities, court fights in the various campuses. We never saw it in the town and cities. But today, court activities have moved away from the campuses to the city centers, to the towns. You hardly have court activities in the campuses again, because those ones are focused on even doing Yahoo. But that's not the subject of. That's not the subject. They are focused on making money. They are not interested in court activities. But it has moved to the town. Why? Now, without setting up a panel of inquiry, without setting up any committee of inquiry, our dear governor started demolishing, thinking that by demolishing, he'll be able to resolve the matter. A government that is sensitive to the people, a government that knows what it's doing, will set up a panel of inquiry, find out why the upsurge of court activities in the towns, find out why it has reduced in the various campuses. When you hear of confraternity, Albert, it's not necessarily a bad thing. In the US, for instance, and even in the UK, you have in their campuses confraternal arrangements. You have confraternities. And there was a time many years ago they used to be involved in fights like this. How was our government able to address it and resolve it? You have similar confraternity activities there, similar, with similar names that we also have in Nigeria. Then they ask themselves, why is it that some other confraternities, let me not mention names, that existed maybe in the 50s and 60s and 70s, and at that time they were even a bit violent. Why is it that they are no more violent?
Yes.
Why is it that they are now more like a social group? They are now more like a humanitarian organization.
Yes.
You know, building police stations, helping people to pay their medical bills, renovating schools. I mean, we read the news reports and we see all these things that are being done. And we know that there are a particular set of people who keep fighting among themselves. Why is this so?
Yes.
That's what they were doing in the US. They make the person go through a lot of dehumanizing things. So government had to stop that in the US and say, no, you can no more beat these people before they join your group. You can no more take them through dehumanizing processes. You cannot make them to roll on the floor or things like that. So if government is not involved, the government will monitor the way they bring people into the groups. And government will monitor their activities. to know what they are doing. If their activities are actually noble, you will see that the competition now will not be which of these confraternities will become nobler, will become better in terms of giving back to the society, in terms of bringing scholarship, in terms of contributing to endowment funds, education funds, in terms of buying hospital equipment for government hospitals, in terms of renovating schools. There will be competition. The competition will no more be who is more violent. The competition will be who will make impact in the society. If government recognizes them, the government cannot have a database of their membership. They will know who are the members of this place, so that if any, so it will not be on the basis of prosecuting individual members, because in every group you have bad eggs and good eggs. Okay, in the Nigerian police, for instance, don't you have bad eggs in Nigerian police? I'm a lawyer. We know what's going on.
Yes.
But when you say because of the bad eggs, you are going to demolish the entire Nigerian police? No, you won't do that. Edogwe, I want more than it, baby.
No.
I want more than it, baby. So government should get creative. We must find creative ways to do this thing. When you demolish property, you are reducing from the development of the state. About in fact, when there's a house we just finished building, I know what it takes to build a house. It was in tears we were doing it, because building materials are so expensive nowadays.
Yes.
Roof that was like 2 million about 3 years ago, just 3 years ago, roof that was like 2 million is now around 8 million.
Hi.
Yes. Over times 4 increments. And yet you go and demolish a building. If they even say, okay, government should even take it over, you can use it as a health center, use it as something. It will still bring development to the people, it will bring succor to the people. You know that you demolish. I can never understand that.
Barrister,
can make it make sense to me.
Barrister, many have argued, like each time we talk about, they don't care that previous government have tried to fight cultism. Whichever approach Okpebholo decides to use, they don't care. If you like, make it demolish before arrest.
You know why they say that about?
If you like, make it. Yes.
Hello. You know why they say that? Because it has not happened to them.
Oh.
You know, the average Nigerian, they don't feel something until it happens to them directly, or people who are very close to them. So when somebody dies now, for instance, you see people taking it for granted and using it to make joke because it did not happen to them. Now, do you know that about 2 weeks ago, about 95 people were arrested on the streets of Benin and in hotels, and they were accused of cultism?
95.
Many of them, they did not see anything incriminating with them, or many of them, but they charged about 65 or thereabout to court, and they remanded them at prisons. Some of them, as we speak, they are still in prison today. No evidence linking them to cultism. So these people that are talking now that it is good, they don't care. They should just put themselves in the shoe of some of these innocent people. They are not in court. They don't do violence. They were not caught with guns. Just because they were in an eatery or they were in a beer parlor. Is it a crime to be a beer parlor?
No.
Because or they were lodged in hotel. My brother, there are times if there's no light in your place, you go and lodge in hotel.
Yes.
It happens. There are times you leave your house, you go and lodge in hotel. That's the purpose of hotel. That's why hotels are there. They were arrested in those places, and some of them were charged to court and remanded for 14 days. They brought them back. I'm sure they brought some back today. They brought some back yesterday, and they will apply for them to remand them again. So how about those who don't have money to afford lawyer? They cannot represent themselves, and they don't have money to afford lawyer. So is it how they just go to prison for nothing, for what they did not do? See, Albert, nobody is good enough Nobody is good enough to do anything aside the constitution. Nobody is good enough to decide that this person is bad, this person is a criminal, he must suffer. No. You must give the person fair trial. You must give the person fair hearing. Fair hearing is in our constitution. It is part and parcel of the constitution of Nigeria. Even during the military, while the military suspended most parts of the constitution, they could not suspend chapter 4 of the constitution. You know why? Because Nigeria is a signatory to the United Nations Charter on Human Rights. Nigeria is a signatory to the African Charter on People and Human Rights. So even under the military, you must obey chapter 4 of the constitution. So imagine under democracy, our brother Okpebholo is governor and is behaving worse than military regimes.
Hi.
This is what dictators do about. Because the man came, he knows that majority of Edo people, including APC members, they know that he did not win election. So he's coming to try and pander after what the people want. So he says he's going after cultists. Because he knows that in the last 2 years, the people have become really tired of the incidents of cult activities. But if you want to fight cultism, then you fight cultism with the law. You fight cultism with the law.
Now, Barrister, I don't know. I'm sure you saw the video of the kidnappers that was paraded. The house that demolished around Aduawa. One of the kidnappers confessed and said, yes, he's involved in the crime. They gave him 300,000, 350,000. The other one from Delta State said they gave him 1 million naira. And he said this house belongs to his elder sister who lives outside the country. Now, the other one said he came from Delta State to do the job. Now, the one whose sister owns the building is now the one that we have seen paid for the crime of the two of them. So is Okpebholo going to tell us that he is also going to go to Delta State to demolish the Delta Boys house in Delta State? Now, in that case, Barrister, what is the woman in overseas supposed to do in that case?
Okpebholo cannot even cross Ogun into Alifikede to demolish anything. His step will end at Ogun there. He cannot enter Alifikede, not even Agbo, to demolish.
Are you serious?
He cannot cross Koko. He will stop at Ologbo on Saple Road. He cannot cross Koko into Delta to demolish anything. That is not the truth. Now, because Okpebholo, I read section 6 of the law that Okpebholo is using to demolish houses. And you saw it just now. He said, and is liable on conviction. Is liable on conviction to a term no less than 10 years imprisonment, as well as the confiscation of the said property and his demolition. On conviction, who convicts? Okpebholo has now made himself an accuser, a prosecutor, a judge, the legislator. He has become the judge. He has become the executive. We have never seen something like this before. I don't know if you have seen it, but I have never seen it. Not even under military. I grew up under military regimes. I was born in the 70s during military era. Then I started primary school and all of that. I was in primary school during civilian a bit. Then all my secondary school, it was during military. I understand how military behave. But even at that, no military government even did this. There was only time that the military governor of Lagos State did it, and he called head that he was resorting to self-help when he went to demolish a property. And he called head that he has resorted to self-help, and they paid damages to Ojukwu. because the case involved Odimego Juku at the time. So people were saying, people were clapping. You know, you always have people who will clap. People who don't engage their mind.
Yes.
They don't engage their brain. You know, there are a lot of people in this country, if something is happening to their enemy, they'll be clapping. They don't care whether that thing is right or wrong. No matter how you hate a person, if somebody else is doing, I don't have enemies, for instance, but assuming somebody I don't like, anything bad, you are doing anything bad to the person, I will fight it. I will stop it. Because what is good is good, and what is bad. It has no coloration of the person it is happening to. It shouldn't be about the person it is happening to. Okay, look at the woman now that went to Europe. She has been suffering. Do you know how our people suffer in Europe? Sent money to build a house here, and she's in Europe. She cannot know that the brother was involved in kidnapping in any way, and the government, without trial, without court order, goes on to demolish the house. So the more I think about it, the more I feel that it is more than meets the eye. I mean, there's something under it. I don't think it's ordinary. You just go there and demolish instantly, that same day. No trial, no fair hearing, no nothing. Brother, we cannot continue like this. Oh. We must stand. I'm happy because there are a lot of people, even some lawyers, some senior lawyers, who support what is going on. And I tell them, I want it to be that there's a time that will come when they will ask me, when a governor of Edo State, Okpebholo, was demolishing houses illegally, where did you stand? And I'll be happy to say, or for others to say, that Dan Osagbege stood on the part of what is correct. That he stood on the part of the law, on the part of the constitution, and on the part of the people. Even if I was still in APC, I told people, they know, even if I was still in APC, I will not support this. I will advise, I will write publicly. Maybe I may not have publicly criticized what he's doing, but I will send him messages. And sometimes I wonder, if I was Attorney General in this government, I would have resigned by now.
Someone just commented that what is the Attorney General doing? Why is he not advising him accordingly?
I said if I was Attorney General, I would have resigned. Because I would have advised him, if he continues, I will resign. I will resign. Because life is not about bread and butter alone. Life is not about drink and meat alone. There are things that are a lot better, a lot more important than bread and butter. But unfortunately, a lot of our people are at the level of food. They're at the level of just bread and butter. But have you ever seen somebody that hunger kid? Have you ever seen?
No.
I've never seen. Because God has done it in such a way that no human being will go without food for days, that hunger will not kill him. I've never seen. So instead of seeing a cow and calling the cow brother, I would better just quit.
Yes.
For us, it's not political party. What is important for us is the state. Because the state, we as a people, we always continue. But political party will cease at some point. Government will come and go. Political party will come and go. We have been in this state when we had SDP and ROC. In fact, when I was a child, there were UPN, APN, and the rest of them. Then the Liberal Convention came at some point. SDP came, NROC came. After that, UNCP, NCPN, GDN, DPN, all of them came, but they are all gone. Then APP came and PDP. APP went under about 4 years after, 3 years after. It became AAPP. AAPP today does not exist. So parties will come and go. What remains is our Edones. What remains is our humanity.
But
and where do you
stand? Barrister,
at the time of trial?
Barrister, there is this argument. A lot of APC guys, even thank God you said some senior lawyers support what the governor is doing. There are some senior APC supporters that I expected that they were like, since I cannot openly criticize this man, let me just stay clear from this injustice. Now, what they are saying is that the immediate past governor, Obaseki, did the same thing to Tony Kabaka. They said Obaseki did the same thing to the people of Okoroma. That the demolition there, that if Obaseki can demolish those houses and demolish Tony Kabaka's home, that we don't have the moral right to criticize Okpebholo. That Okpebholo is doing the same thing that Obaseki did.
Abat, even at that time, I also criticized Godwin Obaseki.
I did.
For those demolitions he did. I criticized. But even at that, the Bible says, shall we continue in sin that grace may abound?
No.
So I'm not going to say because this person is committing sin, because this person is doing bad, I'll go and do bad. Or because this person is doing armed robbery, he's doing Yahoo, and he's making money, he's doing kidnapping, I want to go and do the same thing. No, it is not an excuse. So Obaseki did what was wrong. At that time, Kabaka was not really my friend, but I know him, and I'm sure he knows me. He didn't engage me as his lawyer, but I was going on TV to speak against it. That they would demolish it against court order. And with the benefit of hindsight, we know today who was actually doing those things. We know that it was not really Obaseki. You yourself know who was behind all those things. We know today, but I won't say it. Because I'm trying to be careful.
Because I have also I don't want to mention names, but you can do some kind of you can do some description. They will know where they go. Me, I have mentioned names that most of the fight, because recently, sir, let me just say this, please, guys, can we take this tab to 100,000 with this kind of information you are digesting? We are still at 50,000 likes. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. We are not here for entertainment. We are not here for comedy. Because the more you tap, the more TikTok will know that we are not saying rubbish here. You understand? They will know that people love this broadcast. That's why they are giving us love. You understand? They don't even pay for it. If we not give them love, they will pay, but they don't pay for it. But that don't say, as today, now, man, my leaves all dry, buy some more, or do some gifts. Barrister.
Yes.
I mentioned it last week. When the man that was impeached, the impeached man followed Okpebholo to one of the demolished building. He was standing by Okpebholo. When I saw this, I said, this impeached man again? Because I was active in Obaseki's government. I was close to Obaseki. Yes. I was always in government house. Anytime I need information, I go to government house. Either I'm discussing with the governor's PA or Crusoe Saige or a commissioner. Direct inbox information and I collect information for gates. And sometimes I talk directly with the governor, I chat him and he responds. So when I saw the impeached man with Okpebholo, I was like, hey, Okpebholo is gone. That's what I told myself.
Yeah.
I was like, if this man is here, Okpebholo did not buy a brand new bulldozer to construct roads. He did not buy brand new bulldozer to renovate buildings. He bought new bulldozer to break down people's properties without court order, without court judgment. And I saw the man
said, I think that is not ordinary, honestly.
I saw the man. He was wearing his usual safari. I was like, this impeached man, what are you doing here? I said, oh, Okpebholo is the problem. I was like, Okpebholo, no, you are also saying the same thing. I don't know if it's the same man you are saying, no, but thank God you just said that most of those things were not carried out by Obaseki. Can you explain a bit why you said those things were not carried out by Obaseki?
Well, let me not dwell on that because they are all in the same party today.
Yes.
So they are all in bed with one another.
Yes.
But there's something else you said we talked about. If you remind me, please.